Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I want to do a sneak preview for you that's really special to me and is, I think, very anticipated by a lot of my viewers. This right here is the Grimsmo Norseman by John Eric Grimsmo, based out of Canada. And this is a great knife. I love it in many ways. The fit and finish on it is perfect, basically. There are some design choices I may not love, and it's a little bit big, but it's incredible in that way, and the action on this knife is nothing short of incredible. I have never handled a knife, and I've handled a fair number of knives that is as smooth and falling shut as this guy is, and the detent is up there with the big guys. It is really, really excellently done. This knife, to me, is very, very close to a perfect knife, and that's really impressive because I'm a really picky bugger. So the Norseman has really blown me away. The thing is, though, Grimsmo Knives now makes two models. One of them is the Norseman, and the other is a smaller knife called the Rask. Rask pre-orders went up a while back, actually. I want to say in 2015 sometime. But I didn't have the cash together to pick one up until, or at least to put in a pre-order until, I believe, November of 2015. And, well, they took a little while. The Grimsmos bought a new lathe. They did watch their YouTube channel. They give a whole bunch of detail there, but they spent a lot of time trying to make sure that they got these Rasks right. And so only recently have they shifted into kind of full production of all these pre-ordered knives. That's a little bit of a trouble, but hey. Whatever. If the results are good, one can't really argue. And so I didn't expect to get my Rask for a good long time. Then it turned out, though, that fate smiled upon me. One of my viewers, actually, which is another beautiful thing, actually emailed me this story. He basically said that he had been on the books for Rask even earlier than I was, but he made a last-minute change to his order. But Eric Grimsmo had just finished putting his together that morning. They were happy to change his order, but he just moved back in line, and somebody else, though, had a knife that was almost identical to his. Guess who that somebody else was? That's right, this guy right here. So I effectively ended up going a little bit forward in line. This guy took my spot, I took his, and I am thrilled. So today, in the mail, came something truly, truly special. So it is my pleasure, without any further ado, to finally introduce a brand new knife to me and a new addition to my collection. Right here, the Buck Small Vantage Pocket Knife. This was a gift to me by my buddy Cedric Ada over at Cedric Ada Outdoors, and it's a really interesting budget flipper knife. You've got about $30 street price. The steel is 420 HC, but it's Paul Bose heat treated, so it's not so bad as it sounds. You've also got a nice deep carry clip here and a very interesting flipper tab arrangement, which is pretty subtle, but still actually flips out with some authority. And so I'm really looking forward to doing a full, wait a second, you guys probably wanted to see the Rask. Oh, okay, we'll put this one aside for the moment. So this afternoon in the mail came a little box. The box marked Made in Canada. Oh, that's very nice. And inside this box was your Spyderco Endura. Now, this is a very interesting knife. It's similar to the Delica in many ways, but a lot larger. And so, it's got a little bit more cutting to weight. No, I'm sorry, Rask. That's right, you want the Rask. Never mind. So, inside this box was a nice little note from John and Eric, written on the lid, which is adorable. And inside that was a little pelican case. And if we pop this little pelican case open, finally, we can reveal the Grimsmo Rask. Nice little thing. And in addition to the knife, you get a container of nano oil, 10 weight, which is a beautiful thing, as well as a disassembly tool. These guys know the way to my heart. Even though these are generic screws, they still gave you the tool. Way to go, guys. So let's go on ahead and take this guy out and have a little look-see, shall we? I'll be honest, this is a knife that was a little bit scary to me because I've hyped this knife a lot after handling the Norsemen and really loving what they did there. And, I have built up in my mind an idea of a perfection. Basically that they would be making something as good as the Norseman, as perfect as the Norseman, but just in a smaller and different form factor. And that's a lot to live up to. And so I've been steeling myself for a little bit of disappointment. But I gotta say, they freaking nailed it. This knife is a very worthy successor to the Norseman in a bunch of different ways. First and foremost, maybe the action, because the action on this is, oh my god, good. The detent on it is very, 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 very nice. It's not too hot, it's not too soft, it's just dialed in beautifully. And the false shut action on it is spectacular as well. If you just put it over, it will fall shut under its own weight, even with the lighter weight blade, which is something that's a difficult thing to do. To make a really great fall shut action is easier when you've got a longer, bigger blade. But they managed to pull it off here too. It's running on the same custom Grimsmo bearings, 2 of them, that the Norseman is, and it's just great in that way. But in addition to the action, you've got some spectacular details on this knife. In addition to a beautiful mirror stonewash sort of finish here, I'll see if I can show off that a little bit here. You can see the phone tripod holder thing. My lights over there. But you've also got nice engraving on every one of them. Rask number 82 is mine. WL34 is the steel, which is very similar to a CPM 154. You've got yourself these beautiful, beautiful engraving patterns. There were a couple of them on offer. I took this guy, which they refer to as the angled pattern. Here, I'll put the little birth card on there. It's got the little Norseman guy, their logo in the pivot as well as on the pocket clip here. Note that the pocket clip is done with the same finish as the main guy. It's got itself an over-travel stop over here. It's got a non-free spinning pivot. I'll show you that in the disassembly video when I get around to doing that. It's got these custom-made screws, complete with the little dots around the outside there, which is a sign that you're looking at a Norseman or a Rask that's relatively new. And they even honored my request to make it look like my Norseman, with a very similar color and bronze back spacer as well. So they're twins. Oh, it's adorable. But this is one heck of a knife. And even putting aside the comparison to the Norseman, this is pretty spectacular. Size-wise, I think this is a really, really nice size. Compared to here, your Spyderco Delica. It's bigger than the Delica by a pretty good margin compared to your Spyderco PM2. Again, it's a little bit bigger in the blade than the PM2. However, and you know, here's your rat number 1, and your rat number 2 is around here someplace. Here we go. Pull these down a little bit. But size-wise, it's big, but it's also very, very small. This is an exceptionally thin knife, and it's also a very, very lightweight knife. Here, showing it off next to the rat here. This is very, very thin, and it's also, as I said, very light. Looking at, come on now, 3.18 ounces, which is a really impressive number given, for instance, the Sleesh Bowie, which is, of a very similar size overall in terms of blade length and otherwise. The Sleesh Bowie comes in at 4.3 ounces. The Norseman, being bigger, but still, comes in at 5 ounces, but this guy comes in at 3 ounces, which is only an ounce heavier than the Spyderco Delica, which is a very, very lightweight knife. This is because of a bunch of interior milling, which is a beautiful thing, and they've also done some other nice touches. They've still got signatures underneath the clip. The lock bar is signed and dated, which is a beautiful thing, and other details, like, for instance, this little area here actually serves as a finger choil, so you can put your finger up there as you're cutting with it. It's nicely rounded off here. And the ergonomics on this knife are actually pretty good. It's got a little bit, I'd like to see a little bit more junk in the trunk down here, but that said, it is A-okay for ergonomic use for me. I have zero problem cutting with this. It came very sharp. It's very thin behind the edge, so it is actually an effective cutting tool, and like I said, I'm just honestly a little bit in love. Who knows what's going to happen after the honeymoon period, but this is a very, very worthy successor to the Norseman. And I can very easily see this getting a lot of pocket time in my life. So, there you go. This is the Grimsmo Rask, and I'm absolutely thrilled to say that they did repeat the feat. And they've created something that is, although very different from the Norseman, in a lot of ways, just as good, and frankly, brings me just as much joy. So I'm really happy with this little guy, and thanks to my viewer Walter, who made a change to his order, such that I was able to get this guy a little sooner, and, well, hope you found this interesting, and keep an eye out for more videos of the Buck Vantage later on. Have a good one, everybody. Night.